Imagine walking into a crowded shopping mall. There are dozens of stores selling phones, laptops, and headphones. Many offer similar features, similar performance, and often lower prices. Yet year after year, millions of people choose Apple. Some wait in line for hours to buy a product they've never held. Others replace devices that still work perfectly. For many, the Apple logo has become more than a brand. It has become part of who they are. Why? Is it superior technology? Brilliant marketing? Or is something deeper influencing the way people think, feel, and make decisions? Apple didn't become one of the world's most valuable companies by selling electronics alone. It built an experience, a reputation, and a connection that reaches far beyond the products themselves. Welcome back to Student of the Brain, understanding the mind, one story at a time. Let's begin. Apple's story began in 1976. In a California garage, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne set out to build personal computers for everyday people. At the time, computers were expensive, complicated, and mostly used by businesses and universities. Apple had a different vision. Technology should be simple, useful, and accessible. The Apple I introduced the company to the world. The Apple II turned it into a major success, bringing personal computing into homes, schools, and small businesses. Over the years, Apple expanded beyond computers. The iPod changed the way people listened to music. The iPhone transformed the smartphone industry. The iPad, Apple Watch, AirPods, and Mac continued to grow the company's reach. Today, Apple is one of the most valuable companies in the world. But its success cannot be explained by technology alone. To understand why millions of people remain loyal to the brand, we first have to understand the psychology behind it. Apple's success isn't explained by technology. Much of its influence can be understood through established principles of psychology. One of those principles is social identity theory, developed by psychologists Henri Tajfel and John Turner. The theory proposes that people define part of who they are through the groups they belong to. Those groups aren't limited to family, culture, or profession. They can also include the brands people choose to associate with. Another important concept is self-congruity theory. This theory suggests that people are naturally drawn to products and brands that reflect how they see themselves or how they hope others will see them. For decades, Apple has cultivated an image of creativity, innovation, simplicity, and premium quality. For many customers, buying an Apple product reinforces that identity. Another principle is cognitive fluency. The human brain prefers things that are simple, familiar, and easy to process. Products that reduce mental effort are often perceived as more appealing and more trustworthy. There is also brand loyalty, a behavior shaped by trust, habit, and repeated positive experiences. Once confidence in a brand is established, future decisions often require less thought because uncertainty has already been reduced. Together, these psychological principles help explain why Apple is more than a manufacturer of electronics. For many people, it has become part of their identity, their routine, and the way they make decisions. Psychological principles are most effective when people don't notice them. Apple's design philosophy has long reflected that idea. From the beginning, the company focused on reducing complexity. Clean lines, simple menus, and intuitive controls helped make technology feel less intimidating. This approach aligns with the psychological principle of cognitive load. The human brain has a limited capacity to process information at any given moment. When a product requires less mental effort, it often feels easier to use and more enjoyable to learn. Apple also relies on processing fluency. People tend to respond more positively to objects that are visually simple and easy to understand. That positive feeling is often attributed to the product itself, even when the design is doing much of the work. Consistency plays an important role as well. Whether someone picks up an iPhone, a Mac, or an iPad, the experience is intentionally familiar. That familiarity supports habit formation. Repeated behaviors become increasingly automatic over time. The less a person has to relearn, the more comfortable they often become with a product. None of these design choices guarantee customer loyalty on their own, but together they reduce friction, build confidence, and create an experience that feels natural from the very first interaction. By the time many people purchase their second Apple product, they're no longer buying individual devices. They're buying into an ecosystem. An iPhone connects effortlessly with a Mac, AirPods pair automatically. An Apple Watch syncs with the iPhone. Photos, messages, and files move seamlessly between devices. Psychologists describe this as reducing switching costs. The more integrated a system becomes, the more effort it takes to leave it. Another principle is the status quo bias. People often prefer to keep what already works rather than risk uncertainty with something new. For many customers, staying with Apple simply feels easier than starting over somewhere else. Apple doesn't simply release products, it creates anticipation. Months before an announcement, rumors begin circulating. Leaks are analyzed and speculation grows. This anticipation activates the brain's reward system. Research has shown that the expectation of a reward can be nearly as powerful as receiving the reward itself. Psychologists also recognize the principle of scarcity. When something appears limited or difficult to obtain, people often perceive it as more valuable. Long lines outside Apple stores became more than a purchasing event. They became social proof that something important was happening. For many people, owning the newest device wasn't just about technology. It was about participating in a shared cultural moment. One of the strongest psychological influences on behavior is belonging. People naturally seek communities that share similar interests and values. Apple users often exchange tips, recommend products, and encourage friends and family to join the ecosystem. This reflects normative social influence. People are influenced by those around them, especially when those people are trusted friends, family members, or respected peers. Over time, positive experiences create confirmation bias. People naturally pay greater attention to information that supports beliefs they already hold. No company earns loyal customers forever, but consistent positive experiences make that loyalty remarkably durable. Understanding Apple's psychology also means understanding its criticisms. Some argue that Apple products are priced significantly higher than competing devices with similar capabilities. Others criticize the company's closed ecosystem, limited repair options, or the difficulty of using non-Apple products alongside Apple devices. Critics also question whether annual product releases encourage unnecessary upgrades. These concerns are important because psychology itself is neutral. The same principles that improve user experience can also influence purchasing decisions in ways consumers may not fully recognize. Whether these strategies are viewed as thoughtful design or effective marketing often depends on personal perspective. Apple's success wasn't built on psychology alone. Engineering, software, industrial design, and business strategy all played their roles. But psychology helps explain why Apple's influence extends far beyond its products. Social identity theory, self-congruity theory, cognitive load, status quo bias, and normative social influence contribute to understanding how we connect with the brand. Apple doesn't simply sell computers or smartphones, it sells an experience and a familiar way of interacting with technology, and for many people, a reflection of who they are. Perhaps that's the most remarkable lesson of all. The products may change over time, but the psychology behind why people choose them remains surprisingly consistent. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this vid, don't forget to subscribe. Stay strong and healthy. Much love.